Prince Harry and Meghan Markle found themselves the subject of a sharp joke during Colin Jost's weekend update on Saturday Night Live. Recently, Colin Jost was live on SNL. He looked straight into the camera and said something that's got everyone talking. He threw jabs at Meghan Markle and Prince Harry, saying the UK wants the US to keep them American companies. All that Britain demands in return is that we keep these too. The crowd laughed. And let's be honest, there was more to it than just a joke. It was a subtle dig. Like, no matter how much Meghan has cleaned up her image, people still love to bring up her past. And the internet, it never forgets. NBC has announced plans for a spin-off to the hit series Suits, which will be set in Los Angeles. It will focus on Meghan Markle's character struggle to balance her legal career while also caring for an unemployed immigrant. Not long after, old photos started popping up again. There was this one picture of a woman who looks a lot like Meghan chilling on a fancy yacht back in the early 2010s. No name on it, but people online were quick to connect the dots. Some noticed familiar faces from her Suits days. Others just picked up on the whole vibe. Expensive sunglasses, champagne, and a crowd full of rich guys and influencers. It didn't look like someone who was trying to make it. It looked like someone who already had connections. And that's where people started talking. Like, what if Meghan didn't just randomly end up with Prince Harry? What if she planned it all, made the right friends, went to the right events, and worked her way into the elite world on purpose? That idea really rubbed people the wrong way. It messes with the whole fairy tale story, because if it wasn't just love and luck, it kind of changes how you see everything. But honestly, it's not just about the photo itself. It's about what that photo stands for. The bigger the gap between the image someone shows the world and what people think is really going on behind the scenes, the messier it gets when the truth starts slipping out. And yep, that brings us right back to Colin Jost. She's still experiencing issues after leaving Meghan's employment. And the way she treated me, she says of Meghan, can only be described as dehumanizing. She also said, you only hear about the professional positions, but the household staff departures are much higher. It actually Prince Harry and Meghan Markle unexpectedly became the punchline on Saturday Night Live during Mother's Day weekend. In the Weekend Update segment, Colin Jost didn't just hold back, delivering his usual dose of sharp humor. Alongside Michael Shea, Colin talked about the trade deal between the UK and the US. And while doing so, he added his witty humor and took a jab at Prince Harry and Meghan, saying, all that Britain demands in return is that we keep these two, as a photo of Harry and Meghan popped up on the screen. The joke landed hard, especially since it played out in front of a huge national audience. But the timing of it all even more interesting. Just a day after the joke aired, Meghan shared a heartwarming moment on Instagram for Mother's Day, posting a sweet picture of her hugging her two kids, Archie, 6, and Lil, 3. And before the SNL roast, the couple seemed to be enjoying themselves without a care. On the night before the episode aired, Harry and Meghan were spotted at Beyoncé's Cowboy Carter concert in SoFi Stadium, LA, a little date night for the two. Meghan even posted about the concert on social media, sharing a cozy snap of them smiling and a cute clip where Harry kissed her on the cheek. Lately, Meghan's been also showing her love for Harry publicly. In a recent appearance on the Jamie Kern-Lima show, she talked about how much she appreciates him. "I always like to think about the end of Super Mario Brothers when you get to the final level and they go slay the dragon. Save the princess. I'm like, that's my husband," Meghan said, gushing about her man. She went on to say, "There's something that is not to be taken for granted when you have a partner and a spouse who is just so behind you. I mean, that man loves me so much. And, you know, look what we have built. We've built a beautiful life and we have two healthy, beautiful children." The couple, who got married in 2018, have been living in Montecito, California since stepping back from royal duties in 2020. But it hasn't all been smooth sailing. Prince Harry recently faced a legal setback after losing his appeal to get taxpayer-funded security while in the UK. Something he admitted left him feeling devastated. Their cozy night out came just 2 days after Page 6 dropped a bombshell report claiming Harry has been shut out by the royal family. And it all boils down to trust issues. According to a source who spoke exclusively to the outlet, things are beyond strained. "I genuinely think nobody trusts him and that's the bottom line. The royal family has major trust issues with him and that's what's at the heart of everything," the insider revealed. And it's not just about Harry. Meghan's part of the reason, too, the source continued. They don't trust him and Meghan, and that's why they can't have a relationship. Maybe there's room to forgive, but they won't forget. So, while a couple might be out enjoying concerts and sharing sweet moments online, behind the scenes, it sounds like their ties to the royal family are still very much broken and not likely to heal anytime soon. And SNL isn't really known for being subtle, and they didn't hold back this time either. In that same sketch, Joe made another dig, calling Meghan someone who keeps rewriting her past based on who she's trying to impress. That hit a nerve because, honestly, that's exactly what a lot of people are saying online right now. Reddit threads are going crazy. People are pulling out receipts, using facial recognition tools, checking old party guest lists, and digging into metadata. It's wild. And it's not the media pushing this stuff. It's regular people sitting at home with free time and a mission. But that's not all. When Meghan decided to launch her brand and sign deals with Spotify and Netflix, people didn't leave that alone either. Those cutesy nicknames, the over-the-top branding, it all started to feel forced. Like they weren't really sharing their story anymore. They were just selling it. Then came the stuff about royal traditions. Things like Meghan acting like a simple curtsy was some deeply troubling experience to a lot of people, including Piers Morgan and, honestly, plenty of regular viewers. It came off as dramatic. It felt like they were trying way too hard to paint themselves as victims. Over the years, they've carefully shaped that narrative. Especially Meghan as the ones wronged by the royal family. But the real backlash started after that explosive Oprah interview when Meghan said they wanted to know how brown the baby is going to be. That line hit a nerve. And not just with the public comedians, they jumped on it too. Meghan quickly became a target for jokes on talk shows and stand-up stages. Even getting roasted by Chris Rock himself. Oprah, they're so racist. They wanted to know how brown the baby was going to be. They're so racist. They wanted to know how brown the baby's going to be. I'm like, that's not racist. 'Cause even black people want to know. And when Harry's book dropped, it didn't help. The way he wrote was awkward. Overly serious. It made him sound stiff. Almost robotic. People couldn't connect with him. And in comedy, that's blood in the water. But for a lot of people watching from the sidelines, the real turning point came when Harry and Meghan, two people living in a mansion with Netflix deals and Spotify money, complained about having to pay for their own security. Whatever sympathy they had left, gone. It felt out of touch, even insulting. And just like that, the public snapped. By then, stand-up comics had made up their minds. The verdict was in, but the roast wasn't over. Comedy took things a step further, straight into the world of animation, and that's where it got savage. Enter South Park. Trey Parker and Matt Stone didn't just make fun of Harry and Meghan, they gave them a whole episode. The worldwide privacy tour tore right into Harry's memoir. And the biggest contradiction of all, a guy claiming he hates the media while constantly chasing the spotlight. And they didn't stop there. In one scene, an animated Meghan is called out directly by a fake interviewer, pointing out the gap between her public whining and her very obvious hunger for attention. Harry, meanwhile, looks completely clueless, rushing to defend her and only digging himself deeper. The hypocrisy was on full display. But the scene that really hit, the two of them flying around in a private jet, screaming, "We want privacy," into giant megaphones. It was brutal, but it was also the perfect image of how the public had come to see them. Loud, privileged, and completely unaware. And then came the ending. The couple finally lands in a quiet, normal neighborhood, seemingly getting the peace they claim to want. But instead of being happy, they look lost. That one moment said it all. Maybe it was never really about privacy. It was always about attention. Other shows got the memo, too. Family Guy didn't waste time or pull punches. They came in quickly, made sharp jokes about the couple being lazy and greedy, and got out. But maybe the weirdest part, the silence. People who used to hang out with Meghan. Folks who once posted pics with her, tagged her, or mentioned her in interviews, they've all gone quiet. Some posts have disappeared. Some pictures look like they've been edited or even removed completely. It's like someone's trying to clean up the past fast. And now the internet's got a theory. This isn't random. It looks like damage control. And it was carefully planned and maybe even a little desperate. And Meghan, not a word, no statement, no denial, not even a vague post about false narratives or misinformation, which is weird, right? She's clapped back before. She's sued over headlines. She's spoken up loud and clear when tabloids crossed the line. But this time, nothing. In a world where everyone's always online, silence stands out a lot. People are taking that silence as a sign that maybe the rumors aren't too far off. And the more that stuff gets dragged up, the more it's starting to look like this isn't just a chapter in her past. It might have been part of the plan. A calculated move, not just a messy phase. And now people are wondering if this part turns out to be true. What else has been covered up? The photos alone didn't shock everyone, but the pattern, that's what has people talking. For a lot of people, that photo didn't come as a shock. It just confirmed what they'd quietly believed all along. That the Meghan we see now might not be the full picture. The elegant outfits, the speeches about kindness and justice, the perfectly timed humanitarian appearances, it all feels a little too polished. But now that old clips and photos are crawling back from the internet graveyard, it's getting harder to ignore the cracks. There's one photo that's really become the center of all this drama. It shows a group of big-name influencers and businessmen hanging out on a yacht somewhere in the Mediterranean. And right there in the middle, a woman who looks a lot like Meghan. Now, to be clear, the photo isn't